late, Coop.
Yeah, we had a flash.
It's an Indian surveillance drone. Solar cells power an entire farm.
What'd you do, Murph?
She didn't do nothing.
Murphy's Law.
You're a well-educated man, Coop, and a trained pilot.
And an engineer.
The world doesn't need any more engineers. We didn't run out of planes and television sets. We ran out of food.
Dad, why did you name me after something that's bad?
Oh, we didn't.
Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law doesn't mean that something bad will happen. It means that whatever can happen will happen.
We must confront the reality that nothing in our solar system can help us.
Now you need to tell me what your plan is to save the world.
We're not meant to save the world. We're meant to leave it. And this is the mission we were trained for.
I've got kids, Professor.
Get out there and save them.
I have no idea when you're coming back.
I'm coming back.
We must reach far beyond our own lifespans. We must think not as individuals, but as a species. We must confront the reality of interstellar travel.
Murph, I love you. Forever. I'm coming back.
Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at the end know dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Welcome everyone to another episode of The Faithful Critic. My name is Steve.
I'm Dorina.
And my name is Ashley.
Yeah, and we are going to be reviewing. If you have recognized any bit of that poem, then you might have a clue as to what we're reviewing. We're reviewing a Christopher Nolan movie. Finally.
Hey, as if tulikuwa tumekataa.
It only took us 5 episodes, but we got there. Christopher Nolan, shout out to your amazing work on film. Yeah, so we're doing one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it is my favorite movie of all time, called Interstellar. And yeah, it's another very kind of complicated movie, so walk with me as well as I fill you in on this plot as briefly as possible.
I think he gets the heavy ones.
Yeah.
They're really difficult. Dude, this one.
I don't know whether I choose this for myself.
And then the next one we'll do Inception, it'll still be you.
Yeah, when we redo Dune.
Spoiler alert.
When we redo Dune, will it be? Oh, you're spoiling. You're giving them.
spoiling.
You might as well just tell them the whole list now.
Well, they can suggest.
Oh yeah, actually, they can.
Okay. So Interstellar. This movie came out in 2014.
Yes.
2014. Yeah. Apparently there was a re-screening in cinemas early this year because marking its 10-year anniversary, and I think that's significant. It's a movie that is meant to be watched in cinema. Trust me, the visuals are stunning because we basically fly into outer space. That's very exciting. We basically fly into outer space. We see different planets. We see Saturn and its rings. You orbit around it with the thing they're on, moving into a black hole so that they can be thrown into a different galaxy. They go around it like a slingshot, and then they go to a different galaxy. Okay, so let me just start from the beginning. Apologies for that waffle. So this movie is set in the future. As far as you can possibly tell, we haven't really been able to go as far as beyond the moon. did humans go to the moon?
Okay, you want us to be cancelled? Is that it? Is that you want the CIA agent to come knocking
Do you know
here?
what we can answer for sure? Kenyans didn't go to the moon.
Oh yeah,
So Kenyans have never been to the moon.
yeah.
And also in this movie, Kenyans are not in the moon, but we are transported vicariously through our amazing Dr. Cooper, who is the lead star in this show.
Is he a
And-
doctor?
No, he's not a doctor, actually. Thank you for that correction. So, Mr. Cooper, his first name, does anyone remember his first name? Or Cooper is his first
I
name?
think Cooper is.
We just call
Yeah.
him Cooper.
Yeah.
So, Cooper is a pilot, space pilot. And his family is at the center of the story. And the major other person in this story, or from his family, who we really get to know about, is called Murphy. Murphy or Murph. So he likes to call her Murph. Murph is a girl. Named after Murphy's Law. Okay, so this future that the world is in, the resources have, like, the world is kind of has turned against humans in the sense that they can't plant crops as they used to previously. It's gotten so bad that even, like, they have abandoned advancing in technology and other things purely to go back and start to figure out how to plant crops again. Like, it's that bad because the soil has turned against people. We've exhausted resources, and that's the consequence. And actually, the crop that could only be planted at this particular time is corn. That's maize as we know it in Kenya, possibly.
So ugali hoye.
Ugali is strong, still standing in this future. I know you just shout out to your people
Yes,
for
yes,
keeping the crop alive.
Thank you. Thank you.
All Luyas
Yeah.
and Luos out there.
I think ikianza the crop that was failing was okra. Hiyo ilikuwa imesha acha kugrow. Haya. So this is the situation with the world. So what's happening? They're looking for a solution, and the scientists in this movie are trying to figure out the problem of gravity in order to be able to get a solution, a temporary solution at least, so that the world doesn't go into a place where they can't eat anymore and basically just die of starvation. And there's so much dust in this world, by the way, as well. Like kuna constant sandstorms, yeah, purely because of how loose the soil is as well. So there's constant sandstorms. People have respiratory issues and everything. Higher. So in a bid to try and solve the problem of gravity, there is also another scheme that's being fronted by those people in NASA. Sasa NASA hata it's kind of secret. It's like CIA. Hata hawajulikani wana exist because you see, we said that humanity had stopped advancing technologically. So these guys are kind of chini ya maji, incognito. So what happens is they are also trying to look for another planet like Earth that can host humans. And that is basically the plot of the movie, trying to save humanity from destruction and starvation ultimately. And so this space pilot and the daughter, and through the daughter, when the movie starts, she is kind of it's almost like she's having a ghost haunting her. But she's not scared. Interestingly, she's not scared of this ghost, in quotes, that's haunting her. But things are happening in her room. She can't make sense of it. She's trying to tell her dad, hey, I thought you were the ghost and all these things. Like, then the dad is telling there's no such thing as ghosts. There must be a scientific explanation as to what's happening in your room, whether books are falling off the shelf by themselves, or you find there is stuff that's happening that doesn't make any sense. Okay, so somehow Dr. Cooper and the daughter are able to find this location where NASA is secretly, and they are onboarded into the mission. Dr. Cooper, who's not a doctor. Try to remember that. There's many other doctors in this film. Cooper was not a doctor, but a space pilot, is onboarded into this mission. Takes a group of doctors now. I think 5. Is it 4?
3.
4. There's Doyle. There's
Brand.
There's Romilly. That's it. So there were just 4 people out there in outer space. Yeah. So it takes these 3 doctors, and I think I'm counting Case and Taz as well, who are not people. Those are now robots. Case and Taz ni robots. Anyways, so they take this 4 people and 2 robots on Endoko. They try and now orbit into a different galaxy to find a planet like Earth. And the whole point is to be able to transport people who are in Earth to this planet. But remember, time is not on Earth's side. So as time goes by, there is the hope of salvation for humanity is sinking, as long as these people have not come back from their mission. And trust me, there is a lot of drama in this movie as well, because they travel to how many planets? They travel to a few planets and they don't even land on a planet that's habitable before they have to abandon mission, and some miraculous thing happens. And even though we would have liked to imagine that Earth was not saved, ultimately Earth was saved. So that's basically the movie. And now I will invite my lovely co-hosts to just tell us what they thought about this plot, and also just add a few things that they think were unnecessary for the people to
Why is everyone looking at me?
Okay, revenge doesn't feel so good, does it?
Oh, okay. Can we not reference other activities in other videos? But yeah, I think it's a very hard plot to summarize. Honestly, I feel like you've done it justice, but it's so hard to like give all the context and all the the information. But essentially, as you've said, the goal is to try and save humanity. And the plan could be either that they solve the gravity equation and they're able to evacuate everyone from Earth, or they kind of abandon Earth, and part of the mission that the scientists go to in space is to they go with like embryos to kind of start a new colony of human beings wherever they go. So now it's like Cooper and the three scientists are going to this they're going to like explore this new world and see whether they can find somewhere that's habitable. Initially there are other scientists who'd been sent out before, but then I don't know why they hadn't brought communication back, or there was no way of communicating.
It was, you'd get that communication once you're in the black. Is it a wormhole or it's a black hole? Or
the
both
only
of
way
them?
to relay information back,
is
because
to-
these people, once they got this information when they already had crossed the wormhole into the different galaxy.
Okay, so there were like scientists who'd been sent initially to just see whether the planets were like habitable, and now they are coming to get now the information and see, because now things are getting worse on Earth. So there's that plan A and plan B, and man, it's a hard movie to explain.
Yeah, and I think because of that, just go watch the movie.
Yeah.
Go watch the movie. It's really fun. It's a really, really fun movie. Go watch the movie. Go get lost in all the science and all the grandiosity.
There's a lot of jargon, by the way.
Yes, but just follow the humans and their choices. It's something that you had said. Just follow the humans and their choices, and you'll be able to understand. And then you can like muffle out some of the details. The space science.
Osjui gravity equation. Osjui. They have 2 years. They're going into cryo sleep.
They also have they have like the thing where you cryo sleep, like you get into a pod, you feel, and then you don't like age.
Let me mention why this is necessary. Because they don't have unlimited supply of oxygen. Even when they are on that spacecraft like called Endurance, they don't have unlimited supply of oxygen. So the reason they need like pods, ni kama tuseme ni kitanda yako, but you are kind of induced into sleep for a period of time, and then you kind of set it such that it's able to wake you up at a certain point in time. So based off the trajectory of mali walikuwa wanafaa kuenda. So if the trajectory is tunafaa kufika huko in 2 years, they would be like, we can't stay awake for 2 years.
I thought they couldn't like stay awake the whole time. I mean, you're not looking at anything. Can you imagine you're looking into like nothingness for 2 years? You'd go crazy. I thought that's the reason why they go to sleep, not because of oxygen.
Also because of resources. It's limited. It's not unlimited. They're not on Earth.
Both of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's both.
Learning stuff
But
about
no,
the
they're
movie.
not eating. They're not eating. They're not drinking.
Yeah.
They're not doing all that stuff. They're just
Your body's
in
just preserved.
stasis. Yeah.
It just remains evil for a period of time, and then you wake up. Alafu hiyo chembe ilikuwa fani juu kulikuwa na maji kama ni maji moto, if I'm not wrong. I don't know.
Okay, uliona wapi moto?
Oh,
Uliona wapi moto?
Niliona moshi ama niliona tu zangu. Hii ndio na movie in quality gani?
Kuona maji moto.
Mliona movie na quality gani?
Niliona tu maji.
Nyinyi mli pirate, sio?
Watch it on IMAX. Yeah, but I wish I could. Please bring it back.
Do you know what? Ebu explain why they'd go into cold water.
I don't think it would be hot water.
It must be
though.
warm.
Why?
No, why?
I just feel like it's more like body temperature.
Vibes.
Okay, maybe body temperature.
Body temperature, so that you don't like
Okay,
get
fine.
fall
This
sick
okay, sour.
because of like
No, but actually, body temperature.
Okay, when you think about how like other animals hibernate,
Yeah.
they often put themselves in they slow down the inaitwaje?
Metabolism.
Yes, thank you.
Daktari.
Yeah, they slow down their metabolism so that I think they generate therefore more heat, or so that they don't freeze to death, because most of them they hibernate when it's
Winter.
cold.
the cold season.
So you may be onto something.
Maybe onto something, right? Maybe.
Okay, but mi sikuona hiyo steam.
But ni sawa. Watu wengine walikuwa na pay more attention to the movie. Just
Ilikuwa kwa Steve's cut of the Christopher
okay.
Nolan gave you
That's-
your specific version that he had
okay,
worked
so
on.
and you know what, Christopher Nolan, I am indebted.
Biggest fan.
I'm indebted to you for that card. Thank you for sending it to my email. Nilipata. I received it. I loved
With
it.
thanks.
I enjoyed it. With thanks. Yes. And I'll now show it to my friends because I think they're missing out.
Oh, it's
On
not your
Steam.
special secret. Okay.
Exactly.
But anyways, other things that are interesting about the science thing is when they go into this different galaxy, because of I think gravity and time relativity and other science stuff, like you find some places where like one day in that planet is like years on Earth. So when Cooper goes on this mission, his kids are like Murph is like maybe 10 around there, and then he has another child, and now you can imagine he's going into places where like a day, if he's stuck there for a day, he's losing like his children's childhood, his children's adulthood. So by the point of like when the movie is actually starting,
Wait, it wasn't started.
it has started, but like when okay, sour,
What do you
sorry.
mean?
Because that section is intense. That's
Yeah.
my favorite sequence. That time when they're in that planet with water, and then like it's counting down. When you listen to
The machine,
soundtrack.
Can we
soundtrack,
set it up first of all? They go into this planet because there was signs of life, and
Yes.
now they are trying to see, they gather data from the scientists who'd initially gotten there.
Yes.
But then when they get there, there's like water, like maybe knee length or yeah. So now, go on.
Oh yeah, so even okay.
So because of gravity,
Oh yeah, because of gravity, and how close it is. So it's closer to the black hole than all the other planets. And the black hole has a very strong gravitational pull. So with relativity, Priva, please come and explain these sections. Because
for
of
comment section. And there's a couple of type minutes.
minutes. This what they meant was.
so because of how strong gravitational pull is on that planet, time is affected by gravitational pull. The stronger the gravitational pull, the slower time moves. So time in that planet, which is in the movie is called Miller's Planet, time in that planet is lower than time on Earth. So when they're even actually debating if they should stop in that planet, because they're like, if we stop here, 1 hour in this planet is 7 years
back
on
in
Earth.
Yeah.
So they decide it's fine. All this data seems promising that they can
There's water.
exist. Yes, and
The
there's
water factor was the one that really drew, and it was close as well
yeah.
to get to.
Yes. So they do their calculations. They decide, okay, this is going to be the fastest way we're going to get there. They get there. And so now this is the reason why this is my favorite sequence is once they arrive, the soundtrack by Hans Zimmer is like clocked. So there are people on YouTube, I checked, they counted and they realized every single time when you listen to that soundtrack and they have arrived, every single ding and every single tick is 1 day on Earth.
Oof. So they counted 23 years.
Yeah.
23 dings.
So it didn't count 23 dings per se.
day.
Yeah.
Day.
But
the
like
day.
with the moments when the ding is there, because there's a section where they're now discussing on how bad that decision is when they're waiting for like the water to get out of. They get almost drowned. Yeah, when they're waiting for that section, the sound isn't there. But when they arrive and just before the first wave hits them, you'll hear that ding with every single point in the soundtrack.
I see.
It's beautiful. I think it's the most intense.
It was quite intense.
Yeah, because
That
like
and the last sequence when... Okay, we'll get to the last sequence. Let's just unpack this one first.
oh yeah, because because of the gravitational pull and there's water, so the water like goes high, like up to the sky, and then now it kind of comes down. So now they were kind of caught in that storm, and then now the ship kind of got water, so it needed like time to like air out. So they had to wait for it to air out, and you've had 1 hour is like 7 years. So you're there, you're thinking as this airs out, that's 7 years. You can imagine Cooper being a father. He's missing out on his children's lives. So that's why it's such an intense scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found out that Christopher Nolan wrote it in a way to kind of reflect his relationship with his daughter. Because of him being a director, they get to shoot in different locations, different times. So there's a large portion of his daughter's life that he missed.
Oh, that is...
Because of his,
My goodness. Okay.
Okay.
You know.
As in, the movie is so deep.
So layered.
Yeah, imagine.
And the time
That's
element is so crucial in this movie. And once this intense sequence plays out and they go back to their space station, the Endurance, vile wanarudi huko wanapata the person mwenye alikuwa huko hata amezeeka kidogo, like akona gray hairs. They didn't choose to go into cryo sleep. They thought they were wasting their time, and I think alikuwa fixated on trying to solve the gravity problem as well. So he wanted to do more research on gravity, so he stayed awake. Wakapata ame age 23 years. 23 years have passed. Like the panic. Cooper is my child, so it just goes immediately. There's this was my favorite scene in that movie because of how emotional it was. It was like I was caught by this point. So he rushes to hizo videos clips zimetumwa miaka. Your family are sending clips, you're not able to send back because you're not there. Wewe kwako time imekuwa like sijui how many hours imepita huko.
23, that's like 3 hours.
Yeah, it's actually 3 hours imepita huko. And your family have been sending videos every 23 videos. So he goes on, sits down, starts to watch. Panicky there, that's the only thing he can think about.
And also then, like Muff had been mad at him when he left, so she refused to send videos to him. So now we see like now the son, we see him like he's finished school, he's gotten a girlfriend, he's gotten married, he has children. Like you see the progression of his life, which he missed, and it was like in a span of 2 hours for him.
And he was shedding tears. Like I think his performance was exceptional.
Matthew McConaughey.
Lilia. Like, because I can only imagine how devastating it must be for someone. And then now he sees the final video has been sent by his daughter, who's now apparently the same age that he was when he left. Right?
That's about 23 plus 10, so 33.
Yeah. So, and then the daughter's still mad at him, absolutely. And she's there shedding tears, thinking, he lied, he's not going to come back. So there's a lot of... So there's especially this relationship between Cooper and Murphy, who's the daughter, so significant to this story. Because Ashley's mentioned something very important. He left when they were mad at each other. Like the daughter was angry because alikuwa anajua naenda na hakuwa naelewa kwa nini, why are you going? So yeah, this is... I don't know whether there's anything we've left. I think there
is a lot of left because this is just the first hour of that movie. This is just the first hour. The movie is like 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
49.
So go watch the second
hour.
Go
watch the movie. Go watch the movie, guys. As if you've been like thrilled by what we're discussing, or you can see how much enthusiasm we have, clearly.
Yeah.
We enjoyed that. So I think we can start to go into some of the questions.
We didn't even answer what we liked about the movie.
Oh yeah.
Or how we liked the movie.
Do you know there's one thing we actually haven't mentioned that's really important is they were able to save but I think
humanity.
We don't really have to go into that detail right now.
Because we'll answer it,
Okay. What did you like about the movie?
Yeah, I think from already what we've discussed, just the emotional build up, like you actually go on that journey with Cooper. You feel the way he feels, like it's so
The dilemmas.
yeah. Oh, the dilemmas, actually, but there's a lot of
the
ethical
A lot of
dilemmas.
dilemmas, yeah.
Yeah, because there's like, do you give up on all humanity and decide to save the embryos and repopulate again? There's that dilemma. There's a dilemma of, should I leave my child and go and save the world? As in, there's a dilemma, like Dr. Mann, they got to a point, there's a lot. Yeah, Dr. Mann decides to kind of off these guys and start a new colony somewhere because he's given up hope. Or so there's a lot of things. So just it's one of those that engages like your mental faculties. You're there, you're feeling the emotions they're feeling. So and the music helps a lot, as in it's a well-made movie. The scenes are beautiful. You see space, it's very
Production is
beautiful.
amazing, yeah.
The planet with the water, they have towards the end scene, there's a tesseract, whatever that means, and it's still stunning. There's just so much, but I think it's a very well made film. There's moments of humor, there's moments of like intensity. It was a very good movie, honestly.
Yeah.
I see why people wanted to bring it back after 10 years.
Do you understand why it's my favorite movie of all time?
Again, also it has the thing of its space and like dudes and space and stuff.
Not every dude
And
likes
science.
space.
Okay,
but fine.
can we take a poll of how many dudes like
Yes,
space stuff?
how many dudes like space?
Hapa kwa production mnapenda space stuff.
Yeah,
All the men
All
in
the
the
men.
production
Okay.
love space.
Awesome, then. I guess I've been proved wrong.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
so it was a good movie. Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else to add, because everything that she's said. I don't have anything else to add. The Lizan Al Gaib is here.
Oh yeah, and he delivers an iconic line.
Wait, which I won't say it now, but let's continue.
Okay. Yeah. So clearly you can tell we've left up a lot, and some of it we might kind of come back to touch on as we answer some of the questions you're trying to answer. And the first one is just basically about, we've kind of already answered it because we've talked about how visually stunning this movie is. One of my favorite songs, Unsearchable.
What?
Yeah. By Stephen Baki.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is it searchable
Check him
on
out.
Spotify?
It's searchable on
Oh,
Spotify.
okay. Ironically, okay.
Ironically.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So he wrote this song thinking about the vastness of the created world. And he was actually thinking about this physical world that you can see, like the animals in nature, the trees. Like I don't even have to have an idea of what space looks like. Now, this movie gives us a hint as to what going past the stratosphere looks like.
Yeah.
And orbiting around the Earth and seeing those pictures that you usually see the satellite image square Earth from a distance, and you think, my goodness, wow, that's beautiful. Now think about that scope. Think about it. Think about seeing the rings of Saturn, like just around it, the red Mars. I think they did show as well them going through some of the planets. They showed them this black hole and even a depiction of the gravitational force there and everything. And all these things, just for me, were just pointing to there's a creator.
Yeah,
I don't
100%.
know. Like, I don't know whether you can be a pure scientist and deny the existence of God.
Yeah, I think so too, actually, because I think science at the core of it is trying to solve the complications or explain the I don't want to say weirdness, but the complexity of how Earth exists. And out of that, you have to draw conclusions that have to point out to a greater creator than yourself. Because there's no way, even without even just a space, when you go, for those who love hiking, you can't go see all that beauty and not tell me that there is no creator. And so now when we get to such grandiosity and you're in space and you're seeing all that, and there's a creator. And yeah, that song, how great thou art, I see the stars. Yeah. And
See the rolling wonder
yes, exactly.
Thy power throughout the universe displayed.
There we go.
Every single thing in the universe, and the universe now is basically the collection of the galaxies. Yeah. It all reflects unto his glory, and it all just sings out his glory. And this is the imagination of a man. So you can imagine how great and how even more beautiful the actual thing is that God has actually created.
Yeah.
And even not even to go any far, like even just the complexities of how we can exist as human beings. How does the intestines fit? How does how, like, as in there's just so much. Yeah.
I think you'd have to ignore a lot of evidence that points to this just can't be happening by design or like
out
by
of convenience.
Yeah, it can't just be random.
It can just be random.
Yeah.
Some random events happened. I think there was a big bang, and then ultimately it formed such complex creatures who exist in time and space.
And even to point out, in the movie, they kind of claim that is a higher being that is directing them towards making certain decisions. Like when they start, they say that there's a black hole that has opened.
A wormhole.
Yes, a wormhole.
Because I know the difference between a wormhole and a black hole.
What's the difference?
I have no idea. That was sarcastic.
Again, Priva, please. So there's they say that there's a wormhole that has opened somewhere in
near Saturn.
Yeah, near Saturn. And so there's a question within the movie that asks, okay, so who brought it there? And then they just say a higher being than us trying to help us from this situation. And may just feel that in as God.
No. But ultimately, Cooper came to the realization that it wasn't a higher being or some benevolent other people who
that was too
exist
complex.
in
was
5 dimensions, including gravity and it was gravity. What are the 5 dimensions? Gravity and time and gravity
in a different dimension.
Yeah, so now you communicate through gravity. Yeah. Watch the movie though. But yeah, so they say, so eventually he comes to the realization that apparently it's like humans from way in the future, because now for them time is like a dimension they can go across, so they're the ones who went back and helped them.
Yeah, I feel like that's the movie logic.
Yes.
That's what the movie
But
is
that
trying
doesn't
to
make
tell
any
us.
sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, y'all are gonna decide that this doesn't make sense, and I'm gonna go with my the movie has told you what it is.
Yeah, but I
it doesn't make
refuse.
sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Now that's not believable.
No, it in the confines of this movie and
Even
how
in the
things can
Even in
exist,
the confines of this
It
movie.
doesn't make sense.
it makes sense. Why doesn't it make sense?
The reason why it doesn't make sense, because I always ask myself, then who was the first future human
Exactly.
to get there if they didn't die?
Okay, I'm not sure that I've understood that
So
question.
like, if those are future humans coming to help their past selves, so now therefore there exists a timeline where those future humans are in there. They get to the future.
Yes.
How do they get there
How do
if
they
there
get
was
there?
no one who came and helped?
them. Okay, it's
Because you're kind of going back
Yeah.
into infinity.
Yes,
You're going back
exactly.
to infinity.
No,
There
the-
is no, and I think that's what the Tesseract was trying to show us. Like
Yes.
different, it's all pulled towards one room, a room of a little girl called Murphy, and communication trying to pass through this particular house. Because even gravity, that's where it was. It's kind of that was a representation of what the black hole was, or in that particular movie, in that film. So yeah.
Okay, I think you have completely shattered everything. Your question really makes sense, because they had to have gotten to this future so that the future can come back and help them. But then the movie is saying that they needed the help to get to the future.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like
So
it's
who's-
bending backwards in itself.
Yes.
Like that. Yeah.
So now that is why the movie tries to explain as now the future beings exist in a tesseract that is beyond space and time, so they can bend that timeline however.
Yeah.
So they can survive and help themselves at the same time. But for me, I feel like that's overly too complicated, and just insert God as the one who made that decision, and everything
It's
makes sense.
a much easier conclusion to come to.
Yeah.
All other
But
conclusions.
no, but that's saying that like that changes then God's mission. That God's mission is for us to get born again, for us to turn away from sin. His mission is not to save us from one planet to the next.
Oh
or-
yes,
yeah,
now
that's
like
true.
in context of the
Or in the
movie.
context. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, sour.
Yeah, in the context of the
So,
movie.
okay.
Because ultimately, I think there is a question of they do save the world, and humanity is preserved for. I mean, not to infinity, because as far as we know, that can't happen. I mean, there's always the question of the movie doesn't answer the question of death because people still are getting old and dying. So, in as much as humanity is still continuing to live and has been able to avert a disaster or a crisis, there's still the question of for how long. I mean, you still have to face the old enemy. Yeah?
Death.
Yeah. So there is a question as to the world is ending, and I just wanted to ask whether we could ever get to a situation such as that because of like depleting resources or being terrible stewards. I love how there's so many predictions in the green movement will say, hey, it's bad.
The
it's
world
getting
is supposed to have
hotter.
ended by now.
Oh, yeah, it's supposed to have
according to
ended.
some-
According to some of the calculations. But it's been predicted by countless people time and again. There's always hey, it's getting bad. Guys, we're on the cusp of Armageddon or something. Like it's getting really bad. Dorina inaweza anytime. Which is kind of true. But yeah, I just wanted to know whether it can ever get to a point where we destroy the world to that extent.
So first of all, I think when I was watching the movie and then they were saying that there are no farmers, there are no food. Like at the back of my mind, I was like, where's Africa?
Did they check?
You're telling me
Did they check there?
people aren't planting. There's no food in Africa. That's what you're telling me. I was like, So just by that logic, I felt like this is such an American problem.
Yeah, it does.
Wait. Actually, come to think about it, we don't have the kind of technological advancement that America has. In the movie is set in America. So
Yeah.
if America has a problem, then we have a worse problem already.
That's true.
Yes,
And-
theoretically. Because
Yeah.
the reason why I say theoretically is because COVID hit and the West suffered worse than Africa. And we didn't have the technology to support.
Okay. Sour.
She makes
But
a fair argument.
Hey, man. I feel like you're just dismantling all my arguments in this video. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'd be nice now. So sorry. So for it was just like 2 seconds where I was like, where is Africa? And I think people in Africa are still thriving.
They have food.
Yeah, they have food. I think they have
Go
food.
to Africa, guys. Don't go to space. The much easier solution. This would have been an expedition to Africa.
I know. They looked too far away.
A plane ride away.
I was Ipuja
Wouldn't have taken
colonization.
90 years.
Anyways.
Yeah, so I think with that, we are depleting our resources. There's a lot of humans are just not good stewards. I unfortunately we do exploit we exploit human beings through labor. So now if we can exploit our own species, we will exploit water. We will waste it. We will use the resources from the earth, so that is like for food or even minerals, and all these other God provided gifts and resources.
Okay, let me challenge that, and then I know you'll just challenge my logic. But like, are we overdoing it? Because like, for instance, you're saying we are maybe like, for instance, overfishing, but then the fish is going somewhere. It's not going to waste. Like, people need to eat the fish. Or is it that like we don't need to eat 10 fish, we could have done well with 5?
I think both can be true. Because because the resources are for our use.
Yeah, exactly. And we're using what we need to survive.
Yes, but then don't you think we have excesses as well?
Okay, in some instances the
Yeah.
excesses, yeah.
So I think with the excesses, then there's that.
Possibility.
Yeah, but
there's that
still there's some
possibility.
people who don't have even like So it kind of evens
now that
out.
even
Yeah,
bring-
things are kind of very out of balance. It's true.
So now
Yeah.
that even brings in another layer where the exploitation doesn't benefit
Everyone.
everyone.
It just
There's-
benefits
it's
a
a
subset.
very small.
Small people.
The upper
Upper echelon. People in the upper echelon.
echelons, yeah.
Yeah, it just benefits are very small. And then now that's also why the climate crisis. Also, sometimes I understand it, but also sometimes it comes to me and I side eye it kidogo because whenever they come to Africa and they talk to us about how we should conserve energy, how we should use different forms of energy, how we should do this and do that, and yet the main polluters of air, of water, of even
Carbon emissions and all
yes,
those things.
Yeah.
Wow.
it's their big companies, it's their big production companies.
Yeah.
And when they are advised to reduce it, they're like, no, ambieni Africa wapande miti. What is that?
Even our energy, we are like 80, like the energy that we use is clean for the most part. Hydroelectric power. Yeah.
And I don't think we can even use ignorance as an argument. Maybe in Africa, a level of ignorance in some sectors, and also with some of the leaders we put in place.
Yeah.
They don't listen to the people who have the technical prowess. Say, for example, I was listening to some environmentalists talk about kuchimba boreholes, kila mahali, and how ultimately it's going to be a problem.
Oh, really?
It's going to be a problem.
Why?
It will sink, like tutachukua hiyo maji yote and then like the earth, like the surface will kind of sink.
Oh,
Yes.
higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like every flat that's built, I think
Yeah,
they do
has
like
a
a
They do
borehole.
borehole.
Yeah.
It's true.
And then I don't know if this is true, but also now because of that, so there's a possibility of, I think, fresh water depleting as well.
That's true.
So Mu Saidai with Bill Gates, he's buying water sources. So say
Yeah.
Okay, the CIA and
They're coming
guys
for us.
disappear.
They're coming for us.
They're coming for us now. I mean,
Watavunja mlango tu sahi.
man,
Won't even finish this
it's
episode.
been real, guys.
so yeah. But even overall, because God is the provider, is the one who created all these resources. He's the one who's going to finally call the shots on when the world is ending. So it doesn't mean that we should be bad stewards because the world is going to end anyway. But I'm not sure if human beings, it's theoretical. Theoretically, we can. But practically, with how I believe, it's God who's going to decide
He's the one to bring about the end of the world.
the end of the world.
Yeah, because now I feel like when you go to the extreme of constantly thinking about that, there's this whole hysteria that people get
into.
Yeah, like people, you don't even want to have children because of the world. Like
You're living in constant fear.
yeah, exactly. So I think it's not healthy. But okay, I get it to some extent, but it's not healthy.
That's
Yeah.
over. Yeah,
I agree.
over.
I agree.
Emphasis on it.
Okay, I think we've gone on a tangent on that question, but we've gone exactly how I wanted it to go. So I'm kind of very, very happy about
I
it.
can't believe we
Very
actually
happy.
had a conversation
We actually
about
had a conversation
going
about that
green.
question.
ESG, guys. SDG what?
goals. Yeah, no, SD goals.
And actually,
Yes.
have friends who are in sustainability. Don't crucify me.
Okay, you can tell us in the comments where we...
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've misquoted or misrepresented or said anything that you feel needs correction, don't hesitate to write.
Yeah,
We won't take it to heart
for the most part.
for the most part. Higher. So, Murphy's Law. The character, the daughter in question, was called Murphy. So, Ashley, could you define Murphy's Law for us?
So, outside of the movie, Murphy's Law is like when something bad can happen, it will happen, and at the worst possible time. Like, if you're usually late to, or if your bus is usually late, the day that you get to the bus stop late is when it will be early. Like, when something bad can happen, it will happen. Yeah.
It has reminded me like of this very key line in most movies when everything is happening that's bad to the lead, and then they go somewhere and say, "This can't get worse."
Yeah,
And then it gets
worse. Exactly.
That's
that-
true.
Yeah.
And I think partly why I was asking this question is there's a sense in which, yes, we don't live with the thought that things are always going to go right? But then there is the extreme of people who actually constantly worry about things going bad. Like one wrong thing happening in the morning can cascade into a terrible day. Your Monday, something has gone off. At the very start of that Monday.
Kwanza sisi watu wa Thika Road tuanzie tu hapo. So many things could go wrong.
And then that kind of ripples into the entire week. Like you're gone. Like you have to, oh my goodness, I can't do anything now. Or you don't meet, say, one of your goals. You feel as though and then so you're like, I can't meet any of my goals. Like it's very, and it's kind of, so there can be such anxiety and the people who have been known to live with such
anxiety, and it's, I empathize with them because there is that fear of things happening that could go wrong, especially if you're planning for something. And to some extent, I have some sort of anxiety, but I think it is more on the like planning side, because then it enables me to have like plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, plan F. But even that in itself, it shows that I lack that trust in a lot of ways with some, especially when you're trying to just control everything, because you can't. So it's always prudent to remember that amazing verse in Philippians: do not be anxious about anything, but with everything with prayer and supplication present your present your petitions to God. I hope I've quoted it well. But yeah, he's the one who controls everything.
If you're to finish it, and the peace of God that transcends
all understanding
will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. So that peace is like the very, very antithesis of that anxiety that we're talking about.
Yes.
Because ultimately, things can go wrong. One thing can go wrong, you try, and then it goes wrong again. And I think there's a factor many people who are entrepreneurs maybe would it's maybe sometimes said like a cliche, and sometimes I roll my eyes. I don't roll my eyes because I can't do it, but I roll my eyes at it. My metaphoric eyes at it, but it's to some extent true. Like there
rolls my eyes at that comment.
Right?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I just thought I needed to clarify that I can't roll my eyes. Or maybe I can. I've never tried. Anyways, the point is not about rolling eyes. It's about things going wrong, and people sometimes have been known to quote this, like, you know, when things go wrong, try again. Like that's an element of success. Like someone who's failed time and time again, but still found a way to pick themselves back up. You know, so I don't know. If you were to live with a constant, here we go again, it's gone wrong, it's like anticipating.
Okay, but to some extent, I feel like you can fall in two camps. You can get anxious about everything and try to plan everything, or you can be in the camp of, okay, well, expected. There we go again. Okay, it's cool. Like you kind of resigned and
to quote fate.
Yeah, and defeated to some extent. Yeah,
which is sad.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking if there's a verse on that. There has to be. I'm not sure.
All our worries, I'd say all my worries are kind of future oriented.
Yeah.
And even in this film, the worries are with regards to the future of humanity. Very legitimate worries. Some worries we have about our futures are legitimate, some illegitimate. That notwithstanding, we worry sometimes, whether we like it or not, when especially we can't control things that are going to happen. So what would you say to the person who's like constantly self-defeating, like going into self-defeating thoughts? Like, is there anything you think you'd say besides do not be anxious? Like, how would you? Oh, you've kind of told us. Ashley, do you think there's anything you'd add to what Dorina?
I think from also the book we were reading, Descriptive Letters, like life is, I'm spoiling again. maybe scriptive will need to come before this one. But like life is a series of peaks and troughs, the law of undulation. So like even when you're at the bottom, like it's like the cycle of life, it will get better at some point. It can't okay, I don't know whether it can't always just be like that, but yeah, it will get better. Like it's not like, don't get stuck in the mentality that this is permanent, this cannot change. Like at some point it will. And that's and also like in the Screwtape letters, that's part of the tactic of the enemy, to get this person to think that whatever situation they're in is permanent. But now, like, no situation is going to be permanent. There's going to be a moment you're down, there's going to be a moment you're high. So yeah, I get the resignation, because I think also myself, that's probably the camp. And also, okay, I'm anxious, and also at the same time I maybe oscillate between the two, but yeah, it's gonna get better. It's gonna be all right. Does Stephen Bucky have a song
on anxiety
called "It's Gonna Be Alright"?
I guess you're gonna have to go to Spotify and check.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he does, but you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, shameless self-plug. Hiya. I think that we've kind of exhausted that question. In this film, we didn't talk about villains, but in this film there was a person who kind of played a bad guy role for like 2 seconds until he.
But the effect was so great.
It was. He did some bad things. Now, let's put this into context. They had gone into a planet yenye time ilikuwa inasonga vibaya, and now when they went back, they don't even have enough fuel to go to both planets. Yeah, so they were to choose between the 2 planets that were left, and one was Dr. Mann's planet, another one was Dr. Edmund's planet. They checked the data. Yeah, Dr. Mann ilikuwa more promising, and we'll get to why it was promising. Yeah, Edmund, it was more subjective. There was a feeling attached to why they should have picked that option, but they went for the logical option, the one where the data was agreeing. Wakasema tutende planet, na if things are okay, that's okay, mission done. Yeah, we've saved humanity. If not, take Dr. Mann to rudi back to Earth. That was Cooper's plan, because he wanted to go back to his daughter. A lot of time had passed, after all. So he feels very defeated and helpless, in the sense that he can't turn back the clock. So they go to Dr. Mann's planet. Dr. Mann amelala kwa zile chambers tulikuwa tumezi define, hizo pods. So he slept there and never put on like someone would have to wake him up. He'd given up hope.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know that he'd be found.
Yeah.
So they went there, they found his chamber, nini wakafungua, akaamka, and then he just shed tears because he didn't know. Like I think that was a raw reaction, and it was actually a genuine reaction.
Yeah, it was.
To that moment.
Yeah, you have not talked to another human being.
Yeah.
Like the acting,
what
Matt Damon did.
Yeah.
Spectacular.
Like he seemed like a broken man.
Yeah, for sure.
And so this planet, apparently at a place walimpata, it wasn't habitable all the way. Alisema kuna surface yenye iko habitable. Now Dr. Mann lied. He cooked his data. Because he wanted, I think it was in the vain hope that if this data is seen by people who are coming on an expedition, they might find me. So it was more to preserve himself. Alafu, what ended up doing was, when he realized that some of their nini were not aligned, it led to the ending of the life of 2 people. Okay, I like to say that a lot.
Ending of the life.
Yeah. He basically killed 2 people because to protect the data.
2 people. Who's the second one?
The
Romilly.
Who's the first
so
one?
He dismantled the robot. Oh, he killed the first one.
Yeah. I was like,
But killed 2 people.
you're calling the robot a person.
Including himself.
Okay,
the robot
fine.
remained alive. He didn't die. But
Wait, Kip died.
Kip died, yeah. He dismantled the robot. Alafu, if it was ever to be put back together.
Okay.
Go watch the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he did some bad things. Very, very, very evil things. Go check what he did. And ultimately even led to almost destroying the mission itself.
Yeah.
But for some very heroic antics, which were very cool. And another also very intense moment when this pilot did some interesting thing. Okay, let me explain what G-force is, guys. I just wanted to
Ebo-
get to this moment.
tuulize hiyo swali alafu upate hiyo chance ya ku
Okay,
nod
guys,
out.
what's G-force?
Si hiyo
Oh.
swali ya Dr. Mann.
Okay, sawa. I'm too excited.
Alafu you can nod out.
So Dr. Mann, be still, my beating heart. Dr. Mann, were his motives sensible? Did they make sense to you guys?
Honestly, I didn't understand it the first time I watched. I didn't understand his goal in all of it. I didn't understand why he was so irrational, because he faked the data that this planet was habitable, and then now he wanted to steal their ship, go back to like their mothership, because they have like ships to go on expeditions, and now they go to the mothership, and then now on the mothership he wanted to like go and now start a new colony, based on like using the embryos that they had, right?
No. He wanted to charter a course for Edmund's planet.
Yes, and use the embryos.
Yeah,
she's right.
How am I wrong?
You're right.
Oh, you're right, actually.
Okay, so basi wacha nisikuwe defensive. But so that was his initial plan.
Yeah.
So he thought that Cooper wouldn't be for it because Cooper wants to go back to Earth, and Dr. Brand, I think he was neither here nor there. And then now Romilly was going to find out the information.
He had cooked the data.
Yeah. So when he found out that he cooked the data, he rigged the robot to like explode, and now it killed Romilly. So now when he starts going back to the mothership, he's kind of warned not to dock because they have just some sequence could dock on that nini.
Like you can't do it by yourself. I think there's a way the machine had kept that feature to be.
Yeah, or the robots actually were helping them on their expedition.
Okay.
So he couldn't dock, and he was warned not to dock because now if he did it the wrong way, it would cause the plane to explode. So it didn't make sense, one, why he refused to listen, like even shut off his comms. At some point they tried to kind of like override and like send the message, relay the message through the ship itself, but he still kind of didn't listen. So I didn't understand his motivations,
I think
to
he
be
just
honest.
been found alive. This was a man who was bound to be irrational.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Maybe he'd gone over to insanity after not like talking to people for that long. But then even when you think about his end goal, so he was going to go start a colony with embryos himself alone. He was going back to the same predicament he was in. Because how is he going to raise like 100 babies? Or was he supposed to get like
saying when he was being told to not attempt to dock, he was not listening, and what he was saying was, I'm taking command of this mission.
Oh, so he was there to talk after he'd gotten the power.
He was implying that they would talk, but he took that authoritative stance, nakachukua your power by himself, and wanted to dictate how things would.
Yeah, and then ultimately, because he wasn't able to dock well, he kind of it was so like, okay, honestly,
I wish
the way
I saw that.
Do you know? Very interesting thing about
I
this
saw
movie
that
is
on
all
IMAX.
these explosions, when they're happening in space, there's no sound.
Yeah, exactly. There's no
And it's
sound.
because there's no sound in space.
Yeah,
For
no,
a fact.
because sound doesn't travel in a vacuum.
It doesn't travel exactly in a vacuum.
It's just like
scientist.
please, you need class 7 science. I knew watu bana. Kwani hamkuwa mnasikiza darasa? Hey.
How do you know Ashley was an A student?
How do you know she was in?
Liars.
I'm not even the one who's bringing it up. I'm not even the one. You see, we're humble. I didn't even bring it up.
Like, write in the comment section whether you thought you have a bias that has been confirmed. You knew that Ashley was in alliance, but now that we've said it, it has been confirmed. Just write in the comment section if you had a feeling.
Oh,
if you just had a
wow.
feeling that she was in alliance, yes.
I didn't even say it. I could have, but I didn't. Yeah. But yeah, it's so like that explosion. It's like a moment, and it's like, and then you just see like pieces.
Scattered.
As in,
it's rotating so fast. No one can be able to dock, and it's rotating away into like
the
away
black
from the
hole.
atmosphere, like into like now the stratosphere. Like it's going away exactly. So it would have fallen into, I don't know, some planets.
No, the black hole. It was being drawn to the black hole, I think. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because of the gravitational pull as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so this was damaging. This was bad. And what happened was some heroics there.
Matthew McConaughey. I mean, okay, he's the same guy in most movies, but in this movie, he's super heroic. Yeah. So he kind of like goes and somehow docks the ship he's on the thing that is
No, he can explain
disintegrating.
before.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Amanijibu kwanza.
Eligibility.
So for me, Dr. Mann's motives were, I just understood them as pure selfishness, but in his mind, he thought he was being selfless. Because when we begin, the true villain of the story is Dr. Brand.
The father.
The father. Because he orchestrates this mission for these people to go to space, yet he knows very well. He tells them that you guys go to space, and then when you get the
habitable planets,
you will come back, pick everyone, and then go. So that's plan A. And then plan B, we have those embryos. But truth is, plan A was never going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
They are not going to go back and bring people because
he couldn't solve
Gravity.
the gravity equation, and he knew he couldn't solve
He knew he
it.
couldn't solve it.
Yeah.
So now that is, so with that in mind, him, and also now Mann knew that was the initial plan.
He did.
So because he knew that was the initial plan, out of selfishness, he knew as well, if he gets to that planet and it's not habitable, no one is going to come for him. He's going to die.
Yeah.
And death is guaranteed for everyone, but he knew that there is possibility to save himself, which is another ethical question that the movie raises, where they ask, if we did not lie to you guys that we are going to bring everyone once we get the planet, even you would have refused, because you have your own self-preservation.
Absolutely.
You want to stay with your daughter. You
and
want
that
to stay
would apparently have
with
been
your
an
son.
irrational decision to make.
Yes. But now when we tell you guys that we're going to save everyone,
No, but like, no, you care more about yourself than your family, than the whole of humanity in a way.
yes, exactly. But
Yeah.
it's ethical. If
But-
you're given the choice of
Do you save or do you remain with your family and
Yeah.
spend
Do you save your child, or do you save
the whole
the
world,
whole world?
10 children?
10 future children, not even yours, 10 future children.
Oh yeah, baby, 10 future children.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's an
yeah,
ethical
so now
dilemma.
with because they knew that's why they lied, and coming from that point where there's that lie already established, Dr. Mann was just selfish, and he wanted to be the one who raises those future children. Come to think of it, when you said it, I'm like, how is he going to raise those embryos by
Exactly.
himself? But in some way in his mind, he thought
He
he
thought
was
it would work.
going to be the father, I guess, of all those children.
Oh yeah, maybe he had
So-
a god complex kind of.
Yeah, actually, that's true. So it was out of selfishness, and that he made that decision, or that was his driving force.
Hey, personally, I just hope we never get into a situation where things are that bad in Earth. I just hope.
No, but
as
the Earth will be saved in the US. What do you mean, as a lonely African? The US, because that's where they always save the world.
That's where they only save the world.
That's where they only.
They don't save it in Africa.
They don't save it in Africa. So just relax and wait for Matthew McConaughey to save you.
Okay, that's a bit depressing, but fine. I think we've kind of exhausted that question as well. I think we've kind of understood his motive to some extent, in as much as kwa tumeelewa vizuri kwa movie. Some of us had not understood it.
Nilikuwa nimeelewa.
Tumeelewa. Okay. Actually, umeelewa sasa?
I don't know about my neighbor here.
All right. So I was to ask something about that whole issue of time and how we understand it to flow in a certain type of way, like in a songa, like we have a clock system and everything. We understand it. Like for us, it's not to the extent that it was when they were in space. For us, because of the longitudes and everything in the world is a globe. Maybe because now Alex is in Japan, we're like, Twizy, we're not in the same time zone, right? We're in the same like Earth and space in a sense, but we're not experiencing time in the same way, like ahead of us. Someone who's in the US, do you know anyone in the US who might be listening to this podcast?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? You might know. Okay, so those people that you don't want to mention, say they're like, what?
You better be watching.
They're like those hours away. No, these people, were not hours away. They were years away. Years away. They were like 1 hour equals 23 years. Like it's exponential to the nth degree. How many years? What would you like if you came back to kusikia? That's the news that 23 years have passed in Earth and we're only 3 hours to zilipita. How would you feel?
I understand why when he's in the Tesseract, he's like screaming and like this scene is very
don't
dramatic.
stay.
I think you've had it like no, don't go.
Murph.
Yeah, I think
Make him stay, Murph.
Yeah, I
That's
think
how he
we've had
says
that
it.
like sound on reels or something. But like
Don't let
I
him leave,
understand. Like
Wait, it's on
It's in.
reels.
yeah,
Don't let him leave, Murph.
Yeah,
I'll look for it. I haven't seen it.
yeah, there are reels that have that sound. So like that's why he's so desperate, because you remember the whole time thing. So he's able to kind of speak to his daughter when she's 10 in her room, and okay, not able to speak, but he kind of sees her and then he's like,
Transmits a
no,
message, yeah.
don't go, stay, tell him to stay, because he had missed out on like her whole life. So it's
Devastating.
very devastating. And like maybe looking at it from his perspective as a parent, like I can't even imagine that. For us, like if you like 23 years had passed, that's depressing. Like it's like the people who stay in a coma for years and years, like and then you wake up and then life has happened. Or
There's iPhones.
there's iPhone.
And
Oh,
you
like
left-
Captain America when he
Yeah.
woke up and suddenly there's technology.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
times are-
even in like there's this show called Manifest. Okay, sorry to get into another show, but then like a plane disappears and then it suddenly reappears after like 4 years. And there was this issue where they're twins. One of them was in the plane, the other was back. Now the other one is like 4 years older. This other one is the same age.
Wow.
Yeah, you see, like stuff like that, or like someone had. Okay, yeah, like that.
Like you
That
just
issue.
miss out on.
You miss
people's
out on so
lives.
many important things. Yeah.
Yeah, so is time cruel in that way? Aging and just the passage of time. I have a very morbid quote that like once you're born.
Explain morbid.
Yeah, please. What's morbid, Dorina? What's morbid?
Word of the podcast.
Podcast.
Okay, so nimejingiza kwa hiyo shimo. So something that is depressing, I guess, like almost to the point of darkness. Yeah. So that once you're born, you're just decaying, basically. Like you're older than you were the day before, so your body is decaying. Everything that you are is just decaying until your point of death. Yeah, so that is what it's morbid.
I disagree. No, I feel like maybe you grow and then
You start
you
decaying.
hit your and then old age hits you.
You start decaying.
Is that decaying from birth?
Or rather, birth is the onset of death.
Yes, that's a more
Poetic
way to put it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a morbid view, but not even but because your time always marches forward. It's
Oh yeah. There's actually a quote I've ever seen on that. Someone had put like on their IG, and I liked it because for them they were like, or maybe I shouldn't share because it's personal to them. But then like they're like, in a way, time moving forward is comforting because maybe whatever tragedies you've had in your past,
Yes, now that's a good
also kind of get further and further away from you, and like the way time heals all wounds. So
then time
And you know we
is
don't
like,
feel time.
Yeah, we don't
We don't
feel
perceive
it.
time.
Yeah.
We only have systems that tell us time is moving.
wait, like from the moment you started this conversation, you don't perceive that time has passed?
How many seconds have passed, Ashley?
Of course, I don't know how many seconds. I can estimate.
How many minutes have passed?
Maybe 60 minutes.
Yeah, estimation. But have you felt the 60 minutes?
Oh no, I haven't. You're putting me on the spot. I can't
I'm
say
sorry,
yes.
I'm sorry,
There's no
I'm
way
sorry.
I can say yes.
Yeah, but actually that makes sense. I've never really thought about it where you experience it but you can't perceive it. I don't know.
No,
It
you
makes
perceive
sense
it.
of
Yeah,
how...
you experience it. Like you experience the day starting and the time and like the sun moving and all that. But you don't really know when you're moving from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Like you...
Okay, you don't know the exact,
You
Clear
don't
in the
know
sense
the
exactness,
of
but
people who have... Okay, remember the abductions and when they were happening. Imagine you're thrown in somewhere where you can't tell. It's dark. You can't tell when it's day. You don't have a watch.
No, but
you
then
can't
again-
tell how much time is
Even
flying.
when they're in
There was
space, you
this-
can't really tell because there's no sunset, there's no sunrise.
Exactly.
It's
okay,
just
maybe
moments
Kitambo
moving.
people could kind of tell when the sun is this way, it's this time, or the like, because they
But
didn't
that's
have
an
like watches,
experiment
and then our
enough.
watches have like kind of fried our brains.
I think
and now
that's an
we-
experiment enough to tell that we can't feel time. Like, we can't... Like, if you're to put yourself in a room, be locked, you don't have any measure of time, it's dark, say, quotes and quotes, how those abductions are happening. And then a week passes. Will
You
be
won't
able to
tell it's a week.
that a week has passed?
no.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You can't tell.
Okay. You won, but at what cost? At what cost?
We shall discover later.
But yeah, I think
Stay tuned for the next episode.
I think when you've said that there's still the healing nature of time because of you're now distant from the traumas that have happened, then yeah, I think I stand corrected with time is not a bad thing. I even forgotten what I had said when I was starting this.
Is time
whole-
cruel?
Yes, time is not cruel. There is kindness with that passage of time.
And I think even in our...
And also still on the death beat, just as well to not leave us as death is terrible. There is beauty in death in terms of for Christians
Okay.
now, where we get to reunite with God. So there's like life. There's that
Where is death
verse.
thing?
Yes, there's that verse by Paul. For like, I'd rather.
Or for me to live is Christ,
Yes,
to die
thank
is
you,
gain.
thank you. Yes, that one.
Do you know, I actually met a friend in town in passing. I can recognize, and I haven't seen this person in like maybe 3 or 4 years. I can't even tell how much time has passed between the last time that we...
Or because time cannot be
Felt.
I'm not trying to rub it in. I'm not trying. But let's, like, I felt a certain type of way because when that conversation, you were like, hey, you mean that much time has passed? I'm like, hey, is that even like a good thing or a bad thing? Like, the way that you aren't able to recognize. And then the way you can't even know what's happened in this person's life over the span of these years. Like, you think about just disconnecting from someone. And I think there is a comfort in that we exist in time and it's not infinite. There's a comfort in, and also like a desperation to effect changes in the now, if we can. Not fine. You can do only what you can and you can only control what you can control. But it kind of just helps us live with your consciousness, yeah. Time is not in our hands. I mean, we can always use our time better. I mean, if you are postponing talking to a certain person or setting up a meeting with, you're not guaranteed that meeting is going to happen in the future. So I think there is some way we must think about time in the sense that it's like a fast depleting resource that we are not in control of. That's only happening, and the only evidence we have to this is years are going by. Actually, when we had an episode, I don't remember how many episodes back, and I was like, you mean it's been 5 years past COVID? How has that time gone? Put that into context. It makes no sense. I think time is such a crucial element in this movie, and I think that's why I'm kind of going on this waffle about how important it is for us to kind of guard this time that we have and maybe just use it to the best of our ability.
Yeah.
If we can.
I think there was something about that in Ecclesiastes, right?
If you can remember the verse, please. But Ecclesiastes must have that.
It must have that.
Ecclesiastes 3. Time for everything.
It's a time for everything. Yeah. Do you guys have any thoughts on what I've just said? There was a pause for reflection.
Feel like, I'm reflecting, but I feel like it's such a conclusive thought.
Yeah.
I have a book in mind that I think we can read for like one of the next episodes. Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to. Don't say.
Okay.
We've spoiled
But
so
they
much
can go
already.
read. Sawa, fine.
Yes. Wakutafuta. If you want to know what book Dorina was almost about to say, and she didn't say.
I feel like
Just
telepathically, I can tell my sister and she will know which book it is.
Is that because of love?
Oh,
Ooh, nice.
okay.
Nice.
Nice
So
transition.
Lisa, the
All
next
right,
question
so-
about love.
They didn't go to this other planet that was apparently the equivalent of Earth in this galaxy, or a planet that we could.
Context. They were
Context.
choosing between
They were choosing
Dr.
between
Mann's
Dr.
planet
Mann's
Oh, yeah.
and
Dr. Edmund's planet.
Yeah.
Dr. Edmund's was actually the go-to planet,
Yeah.
not Dr. Mann's. Ultimately, that's what there is a speech that so the reason they didn't go into Dr. Edmund's planet is and there's the lady in this expedition who knew Dr. Edmund and had affections for Dr. Edmund and was keen, like she was excited by the prospect or the possibility that she can see this person again. And that was a bias that these other scientists felt we can't quantify that. We can't quantify love. Like when you say
Yeah, especially in the face of Dr. Mann's
Exactly.
planet showed more promise.
so it didn't feel as a logical choice.
Yeah.
Too. When you're placed these two options, it didn't make sense for them to go for Dr. Edmonds. Just purely because of, alikuwa may transmit some data that was kind of promising, but not as promising as the other one. So if they compare just data, but then this lady had a desire, and I don't know, she did go up on this speech about love is the only, what is it?
It's the only thing that can transcend time and space.
Yes, love is the only thing that can transcend time and space. And she went on to say, so this person was trying to argue that how can you measure love? Nanasema, okay, it's only useful for social utility. What is it? What next?
Child
Child
rearing.
rearing, and I don't know what, something
Yeah.
else. But then she says that we love people who have died. Where is the social utility in that? So I don't know what you guys felt about that speech, because you had some thoughts that you felt, it's pointing to.
Okay. So for me, I feel like that scene and the scene in the end with the Tesseract brings the question of love versus logic, and if there is really one that's superior to the other, or should we put them all at the same level, like balance them? So pure logic will not be the solution. Pure love as well. Okay, now pure love in terms of decision making, that's what I mean, is also not going to be the best option. But we have to find that balance in between. And if they had where they would just have respected, fine. I know they had like limited resources, but because logic is Edmund's planet did have promise. And if they just would have fine, acha ende aone mtu wake.
That would not be logical.
That would not be logical.
And we were dealing with scientists.
Yeah.
Exactly. But now if they would have combined both the love and the logic, they would have saved everyone, and they would not have, one of their persons would not have died.
The movie would not have been as exciting.
Doesn't matter. That world would have been saved. But there has to be, I feel like that was a dilemma that was there. And in the end, we actually realized that it is love that saves humanity when he is able to find.
When we think about it, here's where I'll try and measure this now.
Yeah.
Dr. Cooper and Murphy, who is the daughter to Cooper. Cooper loved his daughter, had affections, very strong affections for the daughter, and promised that he would see her again, or he would come back. Now, his love hinged on that promise, and I think that for him was something that he kept to heart. All through this mission, that, yes, we are going to try and save the world, but I will come back. And to the extent that he said that if they go to check Dr. Mann's planet and they find that huko hatuwezi peleka watu, tunarudi home. Because for him, he said, I will see my daughter again. And I don't know whether that becomes a drive in that. I think there's a humanity in that. And I really resonated with that to the extent that we, by God's grace, have people around us who we have deep affections for and people who we share lives with in such an intimate way. And we cannot neglect the call to love. And I think also it's like a push that makes you just want to do stuff for this individual, like to actually show it in action. Be it purchasing that gift, or be it spending time with this person, be it being with them at certain points in time when they're celebrating momentous things, or like when they are suffering like from things that are happening in their lives. So I think that's a push and a drive that we can't, like, there's the data of day to day, do your job, but there is also the fact that we are united by love, and I think that's a message that's biblical.
Mnaniangalia na msha conclude bana.
I have a wild theory even with the Tesseract part of the movie, because technically he could have landed anywhere. Like if Cooper could have been taken by God, not future humans. Anywhere in the context of the movie, but why specifically to the room of his daughter? I feel like that love drew him there, and therefore the solution of the movie, however,
Love saves the day.
However
You were
it
saved by the power of love.
Even at the end, oh sorry, did I cut you short from?
No.
Even at the end when everything has been, he remembers this friend who he had even started to grow affections for. We didn't see them like in like developing, but I guess when you're cooped up with someone, affections will develop. So he thinks that this person is somewhere out there and has been told that she is alive, and his final action is the daughter tells him, go look for.
But there was nothing left for him there.
And you know what? That movie, there's something we didn't mention, a critical part of this movie. We felt as though this person was a very, very robotic in a sense. He didn't show that much.
Who?
Maybe I'm saying this wrong. But Cooper. But he did show. But on the ship, did you see him like be very, warm and in a sense, like you would say?
Yeah, he was warm, because when they first go into the ship, he's trying to get Amelia and Hathaway's character to open up and discuss
this
we have left behind.
Okay,
then
okay.
Amelia is like, you have to know boundaries, bro. It's like but you could see he was trying to form connections, and he's the one I think who formed the most connection with Taz, the really machine. Fancy machine.
Yeah, that's true. So scratch what I said. So even at the end, his last action was to actually go seek out someone that he loved. And this was even with the thought in mind that this guy his wife had passed from when the movie started. I don't know whether it's relevant, but he wasn't married. He only had his children. I mean, that's the strongest. Well, that's where his strongest bond was. But then he developed another bond with the people that were on the ship, and ultimately with Dr. Brand, who was the last remaining survivor of this expedition. And he went out to go look for her.
I agree, but also it's just a plot thing. But when we get to review to what's it called? To the ratings and mention it there. But it's just a plot thing.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree. I feel like you're really inferring on...
I am.
You're really inferring
on the two of them.
Yeah, because one, there's nothing left for him there.
That's true.
These were people who are like generation...
Way beyond his time.
Yeah, like a generation after him, one. Two, his daughter kind of told him to go, of course, after her. Of course, he'd be going after her because of the way they even parted ways, because he unexpectedly parted ways with her. So, of course, he'd be going and looking out for her. And... three, even from the beginning, he wasn't content with like the cul-de-sac kind of life. He wasn't content.
Okay. Wait.
You could just have said
Cal-
suburban.
Ati cul-de-sac. What is what's cul-de-sac?
Okay, like his ordinary life, like ordinary. It wasn't
farm life.
Yeah, farm life.
Aye.
He hated being a farmer. Even like one of the jokes is he tells the daughter, he told them I loved farming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wasn't he wasn't like too much in the ordinary
Yeah, he
life.
wasn't, yes.
He was made for the stars. So even like maybe even going was driven by that. But okay, also the love. Okay, I feel like you're inferring a lot, but it could be.
It could be.
Yeah.
But love is a strong theme.
Is a strong
guiding
theme.
Yeah,
our decisions.
yeah. Love saves the day. The power of love is what saved humanity.
Love is the only thing that transcends
Time and space.
and space. Okay. I think we're just about to. We have gone on and
Yeah.
on and on,
Yeah.
and we need to bring this to a close. So I think we'll just dive into the ratings for this movie. So, number 1, believability.
I do not know how to rank it on believability. I genuinely
Because
do
you don't
not
know anything.
Because I don't know what is actually believable from a science perspective.
Because we don't know that science.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how to rank it.
You can just put
honestly.
question marks.
One is saved by the power of love. No, I'm not buying it.
Question mark rating.
I'm not buying it.
You can survive in a black hole, and what is actually in a black hole is.
So you didn't explain G-force.
Oh my goodness. Yes, that wasn't believable. Yeah. You have to have very strong neck training. Do you know? Okay, so this is what G-force is. Gosh, thank you. Thank
Your
you. Give me my
moment.
moment.
Finally.
G-force is the measure of acceleration or change in motion caused by gravity.
Hey, nerd.
So, think about it in this sense. When you're in an elevator and it's lifting, or even, okay, those who have been in a plane, it's taking flight. Why do you have to be in a stationary position? Also, when you're in a roller coaster, for example, zile rides inaendaga sijui aje. That change caused by gravity does make you feel a certain type of. It's like you're pulled.
Sorry to cut you short. But you remember the scene when they were taking off from Earth the first time? I feel like
Yeah.
I'm usually so sensitive to that because I could feel, that when a rocket is taking off, you can imagine the speed, the bumps. Like I could almost feel it from the movie. So
You know what?
did I experience G-force there?
That
As I
you
watch
must
the
have
movie,
vicarious
I must
G-force.
have. Okay,
Vicarious
thank you.
G-force. There is such a thing as vicarious G-force. I
Wait, it's
felt
a
it.
thing.
No.
Oh.
Maybe it is. I don't know. It could be.
Priva, please.
Priva, help us. But even apparently, when astronauts are, it's supposed to not just go at speed and any constant from the get-go. It's supposed to slowly build up that speed. Of course, it ends on a high speed, but and they're trained as well, astronauts, to be able to withstand high levels of G.
Oh, you knew this from your friend astronauts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes. So even in the most extreme sense that I've seen it is in F1, where drivers drive very fast cars and brake at very fast speeds. When you think about that sudden takeoff and you're kind of pulled into your car, this person has to keep his neck steady such that they are able to check their mirrors, still remain the constant speeds. When they're at bends, be able to see someone else is trying to see the space that they're supposed to maneuver and trying to overtake. So the neck does a lot of work in high speeds and high velocity, and that is kind of against gravity, and you feel that. So they're trained as well. They have very strong necks in a sense. Neck exercises.
They lift weights with their necks.
They do actually.
Oh, wait for
They
real.
do, like there's a way that you
Oh my
do
god, I was
train your
making
neck.
a joke.
They do. There's a way that you train your neck as well. So humans can't withstand high levels of G. Like for example, yenye inatukipapa kwa ground is 1G. The one that we experience in Earth's gravitational, that's 1G. If you put 2 Ashleys on top of you, I don't know, that's 3G. But imagine that.
Which Ashley? Now the lower one or the top one?
The lower one, how will she feel if there's like 2 Ashleys on top of her? Will she be able to move freely? It's like, so that's my way of explaining G-force, and I got my moment. So thank you. I don't know whether it's related to the rating. But
Wait,
anyway.
so how are they experiencing G-force in space? Because they were revolving.
The velocity caused by the gravitational pull, they had set their course to this place. They are moving, And when it's gaining velocity, you remember how it was supposed to be? Yeah, are you ready? Are you ready? So that we start the rotation. And then there was this doctor who, for him, alilemewa kidogo. And you could feel as though he was, it's almost like, yeah.
It was Dr. Brand.
No.
Oh,
Ronnie.
this is at the beginning.
At the beginning.
Oh.
This was high levels of G. That's why I'm saying it's not believable. Because it was rotating at such, and he had to, nini that ship very, very fast to bring it to a certain...
the moment when Anne Hathaway reached and she kind of saw Cooper in the black hole.
No. When they had just started moving that ship, when they were starting the expedition, and they went docked on the endurance, and they set things in motion, they were like, "Are you ready?" So that we start. Set moving.
Yeah, that was
the rotation.
dizzy.
And then the guy was dizzy, and they had to give him some meds to deal with that. Yeah.
Okay.
So it can cause dizziness, drowsiness. That's why you usually have like a feeling lightheadedness when the elevator sometimes is not put well and moves too fast, maybe. And it breaks too fast, you feel like it's like a...
I think that people who are more sensitive, because even with elevators, they can get nauseous.
They can. It can cause nausea as well and dizziness. Okay. So that's your scientific segment for this scientific movie. Okay. I hope you enjoyed it. I did enjoy it myself. Thank you.
I'm going to ask my brother-in-law to verify your words.
Please help. I did a lot of...
this is junk science.
This is junk science. So legit. But most of it is legit. Please. This G-force. Yes. But, yeah.
Tungekuona ukisoma physics textbooks before.
Mngeniona, man.
Umesoma. Hey. Sawa. Anyway, so believability, I'm not sure how to rank it. Yeah. But Saved by the Power of Love makes it not a 4. Less than a 4.
Less than a 4.
Yeah.
So, where are you?
So for believability, for the science bit, it's science, it works. Within the logics of the movie, it makes sense. If you ground it within reality, maybe some things are going to break apart.
Maybe within the movie it made sense, except the Power of Love thing.
So many things would have gone wrong.
On the hill for the Power of Love.
No, so many things would have gone wrong.
If they would have followed...
She nearly did not find that watch. She nearly did not go back.
Yes. But she did.
Okay. So which...
of sentimentality.
But
because she knew the watch was...
She didn't go back because she loved the dad. She went back because she thought she could find a solution.
Yeah, and she didn't get the solution. And then she remembered, there's this watch my dad had given me. Let me just take it and leave. Yeah. And that's how she found it.
Wait, she wasn't taking out the watch and she didn't take it. Like,
she grabbed it in like last minute.
She
like why did she grab it?
When she was leaving, like, I can't leave this watch here.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, then we were saved by the power of love.
The power of love.
Okay, let's move on very quickly because we are bad on time.
Oh, yeah, by the way.
So, the second one is entertainment.
Very entertained. 5.
Very, very entertained. Wait, which are the other rankings?
Creativity, acting, recommendability.
So on entertainment, I'm going to give all my scores for the sound, for the visuals, for the sound visuals. What other thing? Like the grandiosity of everything. I'm going to give it here so that I can take out some scores on creativity.
Okay.
Yes.
Creativity then. Okay, do you have entertainment? You said 5.
Creativity. It is your favorite movie after all.
Yes. So for creativity, I'm going to remove some points on some parts of the storyline. So, first of all, Cooper is a good dad, but he's only a good dad to the daughter.
Yeah.
He really just...
But I kind of have a feeling he had a bias, but I don't... Yeah, he was biased to his daughter.
He had a bias to his daughter because the daughter was smart, but he really just didn't care about that boy. Aki.
I think he did. Did you see him crying when he was talking about, like... Because he was the only one sending videos. He cried. He loved his son.
Yeah, he loved his son, but like... you're not supposed to know who's the favorite among the children.
I don't think they knew.
Really?
Obvious. What about the flat tire? No, that was too obvious.
Yeah.
That was too obvious. So that is 1. And then 2, even if I agree when the movie ends, fine.
They were saved by the power of love.
No, not that part. The part where he goes meets the daughter and then the daughter is like, go find Dr. Brand. that plot point was eye-rolling for me. Like, I was like, really? You're going to add a romance plot now?
It wasn't a romance plot.
necessarily a romance plot.
I was like,
I don't think it was shoehorned in because
I
this
felt it
person
was
was
shoehorned
somewhere.
in.
Uko amepata okay by providence and plot, power of the plot. Dr. Edmund's planet was the one, and she went there and she landed and she set up a camp, and she was there by herself with, of course, the other, was it Case, the other robot, and maybe the other embryos as well. So. She was there somewhere to be found, and he was drawn to her because they had life experience for how many years? 2 past,
so like,
maybe close to 3 years.
I
worth of
think-
experience.
I think for me, I was like, okay, I've just met my daughter who's now like older than me with more than even 50 years.
She's dying.
She has all these children and all these grandchildren who she's not even going to introduce to me. The one thing she'll tell me is go find Dr. Brand.
But she was.
But no, she said like she knew she was going to die soon. She was like, no parent should have to see their child die. So
Yeah.
that's why
and she said she had her whole family.
sent
around her.
him. Oh, yeah. Okay, but I do get why didn't she
like that.
introduce like I thought even the kids would be interested. This is your father, yeah, wow. Man, he is like such a hero and they
wacha
don't even
tu-
acknowledge him.
Wacha-
By the way,
wacha mapenzi.
believability tena sisi kwa shua imetuka tena 3, less than 3.
Wacha mapenzi yenezwe. I thought my hopeless romantics would be more clearly. There's something wrong.
we can buy when
you know
a
what?
plot point is shoehorned in and it's not legitimate.
Do you know what? It's fine.
There
Let's move to the next.
The
Let's-
chemistry was not organic from the beginning,
Yeah.
so we can't tell.
Aye, there was.
We can't
There
tell.
was.
No.
Can't tell.
Enemies.
So just on those two,
They're not even enemies to lovers. There's nothing to lovers. I know.
Oh, mnapenda tu vitu zenye ziko na tropes, eh?
ilikuwa forced hizo hiyo yenye forced proximity where because you are together and
Yeah.
there's no one else.
Okay,
Yeah.
tell us whether you agree or disagree. I'll
Forced
just keep my
proximity.
thoughts reserved because I don't want an argument. Higher.
But yeah, but with those ones, considering how big and how eventful the movie is, those are like for me they're minor things that I can just be like, okay, fine. But I give it on creativity, so 4.5 or 4.
Similar, maybe 4.5, more than 4. Higher.
Wait,
For
you didn't ask me. 5.
oh, okay. What did you say?
Oh, why? What, 5? Why? Because in as much as I have no idea whether the science works, it was creative.
It was very creative, right?
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
Okay. And then acting.
5.
5.
Oh, beautiful acting.
Yeah.
5 as well.
There was, unlike other movies that we've reviewed, there was no one who was lowering the rating.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh yes.
Everyone was on point on the money. They earned their big bucks.
And it made big bucks.
It did.
That movie.
It did. What's the other rating? Recommendability.
Yeah, I'd recommend it.
100%.
I'd recommend it with an asterisk. I'd recommend it. So for guys, men, you'll love this movie.
Yeah.
You will love it. Obvious. Like, all men who are watching this episode, go watch this movie. But if you feel like the don't be weighed down by the jargon. So just as a general comment, I'd recommend this movie for anyone, especially if you like Christopher Nolan stuff. You've watched his other works, you will love this
Oh,
one.
and actually, this is one of the simpler works.
Yes.
At least for once nilitoka nimeelewa kwenye inaendelea.
Umeelewa movie lakini science
sijaelewa, but
lakini ni sawa.
Nimeelewa movie kidogo.
Follow the character. Follow the character choices. It's really fun. It's really engaging with everything that is happening. I'd definitely recommend it. If you love space stuff, especially that, you will enjoy it fully.
I would highly recommend this movie myself. It's my favorite movie after all. Go watch it. Higher. Learning and the Christian.
I would like to say I learned a lot about science, but I have no idea what I learned. So
You learned about G-force?
I learned about G-force. Okay, you forced it, but okay, I learned about it. I have to say that. But yeah, I learned about
Contractually obligated.
yeah, yeah, but I did learn about GeForce. Okay, it was thought provoking in the dilemmas, like even the dilemmas we've encountered in the course of this podcast. Like thinking through
So
that,
much,
so it
so
was
many lessons
interesting.
about humanity and human traits, and anyways, the final one is the Christian. We have implied meaning, because this movie was not, so just tell us the rating.
So weirdly enough, it's not 100% implied, because so when I watch movies, I go binge everything about their production and how it was done, and especially for this one, I was very curious on how they got to make some of those shots and how they got to make like some of those places feel real. And not because I'm sorry, this is a dig on Marvel, but when you watch some of the Marvel stuff when they're in space, it doesn't feel real. You can tell this was computer generated. But this one, you could actually feel like you're in that you uko juu in Earth with them in those spaceships. So when I was going to find out about it, when they were doing discussions with Hans Zimmer on the music, they specifically chose to use an organ because they wanted to infer religious themes with some of the that they do that they do in the movie. And he also makes some interesting choices. So the astronauts who go for the first trip are 12. So inferring to the 12 disciples when they are sent out. We have that kind of salvation figure in savior or messianic figure with, what's his name? With Cooper being the one who finally sends the message back to Earth, and the Earth is saved. And then we also have there's something else which we had said, or us, when we are saying that those future humans are God, even if the movie is trying to explain to us that they are not God, that is the reference. That's the reference, and that's what they're trying.
That's the best way to understand what is happening in this
movie.
movie.
So it just has some religious themes which are trying to be explained through science, but those are active choices the filmmaker made when they were doing it.
So did you give a rating now?
Oh, for Christianity, I'd say the Christian logic makes sense. So like 3.5 there.
Because we've learned a lot about what she just said right now. So what do you think?
Yeah, I don't believe in what she said. I'm trying to understand the logic of future humans saving us. So I refrain.
From
abstain from taking.
This was a difficult movie to rate. Clearly, people were refusing to give numbers. I would.
You think on a question marks mob?
Yeah,
but it's true. It's a difficult movie.
Yeah,
it
to
is.
understand in many ways. But would we recommend you watch it?
Absolutely.
And yeah, I think that brings us to the end of another review. Thank you for having stuck with us throughout all that jargon.
The patience.
Akiume too. The one who's still here, mob love. We wish you.
How is it?
It's like this.
Oh, okay.
So, this is the camera. Is it? Okay, it's out. We love you for the support and yeah, just keep watching.